ಶೂನ್ಯ ಸುಂಕದ ಆಮದು ಮತ್ತು ಕಚ್ಚಾ ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ಕೊರತೆಯಿಂದ ದೇಶದ ಪೇಪರ್ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗೆ ಭಾರೀ ಪೆಟ್ಟು. ಐಪಿಪಿಟಿಎ ಕಳವಳ. ಶೂನ್ಯ ಸುಂಕದ ಝೀರೋ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಆಮದು ಏರಿಕೆ ಹಾಗೂ ದೇಶೀಯವಾಗಿ ಕಚ್ಚಾ ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ಫೈಬರ್ ತೀವ್ರ ಕೊರತೆಯಿಂದಾಗಿ ಸಂಕಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಲುಕಿರುವ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಕಾಗದ ಉದ್ಯಮವನ್ನು ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ರಕ್ಷಿಸಲು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ತಕ್ಷಣವೇ ಸೂಕ್ತ ನೀತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಜಾರಿಗೆ ತರಬೇಕು ಎಂದು ಭಾರತೀಯ ಪಲ್ಪ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪೇಪರ್ ತಾಂತ್ರಿಕ ಸಂಘ ಐಪಿಪಿಟಿಎ ಆಗ್ರಹಿಸಿದೆ. ನಗರದ ರಾಯಲ್ ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್ ರೆಸಾರ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂದು ಆಯೋಜಿಸಲಾಗಿದ್ದ ಐಪಿಪಿಟಿಎ ವಾರ್ಷಿಕ ಮಹಾಸಭೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ ಉದ್ಘಾಟನೆಯ ಬಳಿಕ ನಡೆದ ಪತ್ರಿಕಾಗೋಷ್ಠಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಐಪಿಪಿಟಿಎ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಪವನ್ ಖೇತಾನ್ ಅವರು ಈ ಕಳವಳ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದರು. ಭಾರತೀಯ ಕಾಗದ ಉದ್ಯಮವು ಇಂದು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ನಿರ್ಣಾಯಕ ಘಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಮುಕ್ತ, ಸುಸ್ಥಿರ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಿಂಗ್ನತ್ತ ದೇಶವನ್ನು ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸುವಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಪಾತ್ರ ವಹಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶೀಯ ಉತ್ಪಾದನಾ ವಲಯವು ತೀವ್ರ ಆತಂಕದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಎಂದು ಪವನ್ ಖೇತಾನ್ ತಿಳಿಸಿದರು. ಚೀನಾ ಮತ್ತು ಆಸಿಯಾನ್ ದೇಶಗಳಿಂದ ಶೂನ್ಯ ಅಥವಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಸುಂಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಗದ ಮತ್ತು ಪೇಪರ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ಗಳ ಆಮದು ಭಾರೀ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಹಸಿರು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಪಾರ ಬಂಡವಾಳ ಹೂಡುತ್ತಿರುವ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶೀಯ ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ತೀವ್ರ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಒತ್ತಡವನ್ನು ಹೇರುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಈ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಬೆಲೆಯ ಆಮದುಗಳ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ನಮಗೆ ಸಮಾನಾವಕಾಶದ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ತುರ್ತು ಅಗತ್ಯವಿದೆ ಎಂದು ಅವರು ಒತ್ತಾಯಿಸಿದರು. ಸಮಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತರಿದ್ದ ಐಪಿಪಿಟಿಎ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿ ಶ್ರೀ ದಿಲೀಪ್ ಚಂದರಾನ ಅವರು ಮಾತನಾಡಿ, ಮೂಲತಃ ಭಾರತವು ಕಾಗದದ ಕಚ್ಚಾ ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ಫೈಬರ್ ಕೊರತೆಯಿರುವ ದೇಶವಾಗಿದೆ. ಅವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ತ್ಯಾಜ್ಯ ಕಾಗದ ಸಂಗ್ರಹಣಾ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗಳಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಆಮದು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ ತ್ಯಾಜ್ಯ ಕಾಗದದ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅವಲಂಬಿತರಾಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಜಾಗತಿಕ ಬೆಲೆ ಏರಿಳಿತಗಳ ಬಿಸಿ ಉದ್ಯಮಕ್ಕೆ ತಟ್ಟುತ್ತಿದೆ ಎಂದು ವಿವರಿಸಿದರು. ಅರಣ್ಯ ನಾಶದ ಮಿಥ್ಯೆಗೆ ತೆರೆ, ಕಾಗದ ಉದ್ಯಮದ ಕುರಿತಾದ ಹಳೆಯ ತಪ್ಪು ಕಲ್ಪನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೋಗಲಾಡಿಸಿದ ಐಪಿಪಿಟಿಎ, ಭಾರತೀಯ ಕಾಗದ ಉದ್ಯಮವು ಅರಣ್ಯದ ಮರಗಳನ್ನು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಬಳಸುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟಪಡಿಸಿದೆ. ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಯಾಗುವ 75% ಕಾಗದವು ಮರುಬಳಕೆಯ ನಾರುಗಳಿಂದ ರಿಸೈಕಲ್ಡ್ ಫೈಬರ್ ತಯಾರಾಗುತ್ತಿದ್ದು, ಇದು ಜಾಗತಿಕ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲೇ ಅತಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮರುಬಳಕೆ ಆಧಾರಿತ ವಲಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಾಗಿದೆ.
So I think this is a resource which is very, very valuable for all of us, and the fact that it is renewable adds to the multi-usability of this material. You can renew it, grow it again and again, use it to either make paper or to use it in boilers for energy generation. So I think it's something which the earth is providing us as a huge amount of value, and we as people around it should not really treat it as a waste or look at it as a waste, but it's a very valuable material that can generate a lot of income both for farmers and for the industry. And the complete recyclability process lends to the entire circle of renovation and reinvention, because paper, as I think our secretary and earlier must have been shared, that all paper can be recycled again and again multiple times, lending to the recyclability of the material. The raw material that we use as is in a renewable in nature can be cut again and again to use as either paper making or as fuel for boiler. And also it helps that when we use it as such, we prevent its burning in the fields and prevent the pollution that happens surrounding the burning of these materials in the field. Farmers' income grow because not only do they get from their crop, but they get it from the straws also, which is sold to the industry for using for both these options. So the fact is, I think if we use it very, very properly, efficiently, effectively, a lot more value addition happens. And as I said, that it's not a waste but a very material of value. And to my mind, I think the words of Mahatma Gandhi resonate in my mind, that there is something for everybody's need but not for everybody's greed. So we need to use it very, very carefully. And with that, I sort of thank you for coming here on and attending this press conference. It gives us a lot of strength that our AGM and seminar that we're going to hold in Bengaluru is off to a good start. Thank you so much.
So when we talk about bioresources, and we have been discussing, it's not today, we have been discussing for the last few decades on various raw materials to be used other than the food. And like, bagasse and grow residues and wheat straws and rice straws and things like that. And even today we all know 73 to 75% of the paper mills are operating in the recycled fiber, which we call it as a secondary fiber. So the industry is so green. Now coming to the second part of the conference is for the bioresources for the fuel, for the energy sector. And we all know, the conferences and the seminars and the global conclave which is happening on the fossil fuel reduction, the conventional fuel, fossil fuel, which is coal today. That has to be substantially reduced. Even today, if you talk about the industry, let it not be in only India, globally, 50 to almost 60% of the energy is from the coal, fossil fuel. And in India, almost 60 to 70% of the industries are operating with fossil fuel coal, fully or in some parts, in a mixture. Now the government has taken initiative that the fossil fuel reduction has to happen and the coal consumptions have to come down. So many mills in the north and many mills, in India have started using a lot of, the waste, we call it as a solid waste or, hazardous waste, and we call it as a residue derived fuel, RDF type of boilers which have started coming in. And people have modified their boilers, people have put the new boilers, and people are making energy out of the waste. So thereby, the coal reduction which is already happening by 30 to 40% in most of the mills. So the Indian pulp and paper industry, by large, if you say that we are very much aligning to the government policies and also the global norms what's happening elsewhere. So this conference is going to be focusing on the bioresources for the paper manufacturing with respect to raw material, and also the bioresources for the energy sector, for the power generation, which will be used as an alternate fuel other than coal. And in this process, there is a lot of research work which is done in the Indian paper mills in association with our Central Pulp and Paper Research Institute and other technical forums. And there are a lot of papers which are published, and there are a lot of findings which are going to be shared in this conference. So ultimately, these type of conferences, there are a lot of research and a lot of work which is done, and the papers are going to be released here, the papers are going to be discussed here for the next 2 days, and then the member mills, they will take all these points and whichever can be implemented in their mills, they will try to implement. And whatever is happening in some parts of the country, in some of the paper mills, it has to be widespread now. And it is started as a momentum. Earlier we would have seen that the waste paper, people used to talk about collection, people used to talk about usage, people used to talk about technology. Today 75% of the people are very nicely converting it. The mills are, the mills which are in north and the mills which are depending on the secondary waste, they are called like, intelligent procurement of waste paper and effectively converting that into a final product, good paper and paper board. That is how they made the fiber shortage, absolutely, not a concerning factor anymore. Of course, for a very specialty grades, still today pulp is used. If the pulp mill is not there, people are importing it and then trying to use the imported pulp. Now this conference is going to tell, other than the wood pulp, what are the other sources available? It is not only the hardwood, there are bagasse, there are wheat straw, there are rice straw. Researches are going on bananas and other leaves and stems and things like that, and there are papers going to be published on this. So it's going to be a very win-win situation for the the industries, for the economy sector, for the machinery manufacturers, and also for all the research institutes who are doing it for the last 1 decade. And
out of recycled paper. That means for a layman, waste paper to paper now. And about 6-7-8% from agricultural residues. Balance 20% is of course from wood, but none of the wood is sourced from any forest resources. all wood is being sourced from farm or social forestry, where we help the farmers as an alternate income to grow trees, and we research with them so that their yields go up, their income goes up. And India being a hot country, warm country, this is about 3-4 years cycle that a tree matures. So therefore, trees have also become almost a, if not annual crop, a 4-year crop or 3-year crop. So whatever trees are used as a crop, not as a forest, because we do not touch. In fact, the law does not permit that we cut even a single tree from any forest. So therefore, this impression that while we save paper, we save trees, this is not true. In fact, this is a world phenomenon that wherever paper industry grows, the forest area grows. Because this being our raw material, we help in that. And then, as Mr. Krishnan said, that many mills have already shifted from conventional energy sources, which was coal or let's say petroleum products. In fact, there are many mills in the north and in south also, where 100% energy is being sourced out of non-conventional biomaterials. Like I come from Punjab, where total steam is being generated out of rice husk, not even a single kg of coal is used. We have our own turbines, so from those turbines generate power. We don't even draw any power from the grid now. So therefore, almost, and then on an average also, if we talk about India as such, I think most of the mills, at least 50-55% of their energy requirements are being met out of non-conventional. That is not, we don't use any coal or any, let's say, other conventional raw materials. So this conference is all about that, can we do better than this? Whatever we are doing, can we do better? Can we do better? Can we increase percentage of biomaterials? What are the alternatives available? What are the different fibers available? There is research going on, as Mr. Krishnan said, that out of banana stem, there is a big tree, banana is a big plant. Can we use the banana stem as one of the raw materials for paper making rather than wood or wood and other materials? As I said, that we started from wood as 100% wood. We used wheat straw, we used rice straw, we used the wild grasses also. And now, can we do better than that? Similarly, on let's say recycled front, today significant quantities of waste paper are imported because our collection systems are not as efficient. We don't collect our waste papers efficiently, which can be recycled. In fact, part of it goes into garbage, and because the household collections do not. Can we do better than that? There are projects going on in various cities. See, a company like ITC has done on city level many projects where they collect all the waste paper from households themselves and recycle it. So can we do better than that? Similarly, on wherever we are using the let's say conventional, either the fiber or the energy source, can we do better than that? So entire 2-day conference, and we have actually very really high quality technical papers being presented where we can we share this information, share this knowledge with the delegates. There are going to be almost 350 delegates, if I am correct, from
almost touching 400.
Almost 400 delegates coming from entire India. I come from absolute north, I come from Punjab, so pan-India people are coming. Similarly, technical experts come from all over India, and we share our knowledge. So we'll be very happy to, in fact, very frankly, if you have any queries on that, if you want to do anything further about paper industry, about this conference, and what are your doubts about paper industry, how do you perceive paper industry, if you want any clarification. Thank you so much.
One part we basically want to emphasize that this topic related to the renewable energy, okay? In terms of the paper industry, since paper industry is basically being in the, you can say the, somehow we can say the, in a typical phase where you can say the raw material prices are on the higher side, as well as the margins are much more lower on the pressure from the, you can say the selling side. So related to the how best we can utilize this topic, main topic related to renewable energy, much more basically impact the industry top and bottom line of, and that is much more basically needed at this hour for the Indian paper industry. Now we can say the related to this topic, this is much more basically being concerned by the Indian paper industry, and the topic is related to the much more basically focus in terms of the today's condition where fossil fuel basically ability may be you can say the big concern into coming days of. So now what is the industry waste in terms of the Indian paper industry, and how best we can basically utilize this solid waste into some part of the energy which can be basically being you can say utilized in terms of their manufacturing process, and that is much more advantage to us. Related to the raw material, okay, number of things, new inventions are being coming in the Indian paper industry to be basically much more related to the new fibers, new technology, energy efficient technology. But one part is you can say in the coming the days, whatever the Ippta contribution related to the Indian paper industry, the topics are much more concerned with the problem being faced by the Indian paper industry, and that you can say the much more you can say the every paper industry has to take part in this type of conferences where number of technical papers are being basically printed and published in the Indian technical conference Ippta, as well as you can say the some of you can say maybe 50 to 60% papers are being presented in terms of the conference where industry delegates as well as the India's industry experts are being basically part of that you can say the conference, and they take advantage of this technical brief as well as the technical side of these topics. So that you can say the maybe much more impacting the our scenario Indian paper pulp and paper technical experts as well as the industry. One part related to the that because it related to the renewable